Hi everyone, this week we're moving through a full-length Yin Yoga class to work on flexibility in the hips. This is a class that's suitable for absolutely anyone, beginner or advanced. Okay guys, so today we may need a few props to help us, so you can totally make do with just a couple of cushions, whatever you have laying around on the sofa or on the bed, and if you can grab yourself just a small blanket, that will come in really helpful. If you do have things like blocks, bolsters that you like to use in your practice, then please do feel free to incorporate those as we go through, but this will be just fine, cushions and a blanket. So we're going to start in an opening Shavasana, so we're going to lay down onto our backs to begin with. Okay, so option to place a cushion under the backs of the knees if you find that your lower back feels uncomfortable laying flat on the floor. You can use one or two cushions. You can roll a blanket or a cushion under the back of the neck if your neck needs some support here. And taking the arms down to the floor. Taking the arms slightly away from the body. Draw the shoulders down away from the ears, so draw the shoulder blades down towards the waistline. And let the arms go, let the palms soften, fingers soften, wrists soften. Palms facing up if you can. Allow the feet to part, so towards the edge of your yoga mat if you're on one. And when you feel ready, allowing the eyes to close. Softening the muscles across the forehead and around the eyes. Just allow those muscles to let go. Even if it is just a little bit. Allow your jaw to soften up. Your tongue to relax in your mouth. Allow the muscles in the throat to become soft. Breathing in and out through the nose if you can. As you breathe in, begin to allow your belly to rise. And as you breathe out, allow your belly to fall. This doesn't have to be forceful or dramatic, it can be gentle. As we breathe in, belly rises. As we breathe out, the belly falls. We're just gently coaxing the breath all the way down into the belly. Taking deeper belly breaths. Take a really deep breath in now through the nose, all the way up to the very top. Hold that breath in at the top. And out through the nose, all the way down to the end, but slowly. Take two more of these deeper breaths, but take your time in through the nose, all the way up to the very top. All the way down to the end. Letting the belly rise before the chest expands. And then chest fall, belly fall. And relaxing your breath back to normal, but still allowing that belly to rise and fall as you breathe. And you can really relax your breath now. So apart from that belly breathing aspect, we just allow the body to breathe in whatever way it wants to, at whatever pace it wants to. So the breath becomes really quite soft and effortless. There's a relaxation in the chest. Almost a softening of the lungs. As the breath begins to sink more and more deeply into the belly. Bring our attention to the feeling of the rest of the body now. Noting the feeling of just the existence of the body, the presence of the body. Noticing the feeling of all of the different parts of the body. And even sinking deeper into the muscles and the tissues of the body, just noticing the feeling in the muscles. Gathering our info, if you like. We are kind of gathering a picture of how the body is feeling, and we're really sitting very much with sensation, the feeling of the presence of the body, any feelings or sensations that we pick up on in the muscles, the tissues. One thing we often notice early on is the feeling of tension or gripping in the body. So what I want you to do is allow the muscles and the tissues to let go each time you breathe out. And notice my choice of words there. Allow the body to let go rather than try to let go. Breathing out and allowing any gripping, any tension to begin to fall away now. And notice the feeling of the muscles becoming soft. Softening a little bit more each time you breathe out. Your body to let go. And the lovely thing about our Yin practice is that we have plenty of time now to allow our body to sink deeper and deeper into this feeling of softening and letting go. So everything that we've built here, this awareness of the feeling of the body, this connection to the body, and this rhythm of breathing out and letting go is something that we're going to take with us into our postures now. So once more, if it feels right, take a deeper breath in through the nose, letting the belly rise before the chest expands. Releasing that breath through the nose, taking the feet together, taking the hands together, and taking the arms up above you to stretch out from fingers to toes. Rolling over onto the right side, and And pausing for a moment, resting your head into whatever support you have there, a cushion or the arm. Maintaining a softness in the body even now. Breath through the nose. Being here, connecting with the feeling of your body once more. Before you press your palm into the floor and work your way up to a seated position. And we're going to make our way into our first posture, which will be butterfly posture. Taking the feet in, but not all the way in. So leave just over a foot gap between your sitting bones and your heels. Let your knees fall out to the sides. So if you get too much stretch through the hips or through the knees, you can place cushions under, just to give support to the hips and support to the knees if anything becomes painful. So let's make our way down into the posture, sitting up nice and tall, reaching the crown towards the ceiling, softening the shoulders down, and sit up really tall for a moment as you lean forwards. And then we're going to start to relax and become passive as we do in our yin postures. So slowly allowing the head to lower, and we can begin to relax into this gradually. So every time we breathe out, we let go a little bit more. So the spine will round, the weight of the head drops forwards. The arms can come to a position that just feels comfortable, that may be out in front of you, that may be just resting up onto the tops of the feet or even underneath the legs. Everyone is different, so just wherever you feel the shoulders becoming soft, and the chest able to relax. So you can relax your neck more and more, allowing your head to drop fully towards the chest. And if it's too much for the neck or the upper back, around the shoulder area, if that's getting too much strain, stack your cushions in front of you and rest your head into your hands. Or it may suit you better to rest your elbows into your lower legs and rest your head into your hands. So if any of you are new to Yin, we're always looking for a perfect edge. So not too much stretch, nothing sharp or aggressive or painful, but not too little. We want to be feeling something, and that's why as we move through, I'll give you these options to support your body and adjust your posture. And just know that there's no right or wrong, so it really is just tweaking and adjusting until you feel that your body has found that sweet spot where it's safe, supported, getting a stretch, but feeling able to be there, feeling able to relax and let go. Take a rest from the postures whenever you need to today as well. And maybe closing the eyes as you allow yourself to connect once more with the feeling of your own body. This is where we want to switch from ruminating in the mind and paying attention to the subject matters in the mind, and bring our attention really to the physical sensation of our body. So dropping down into our senses, becoming just very aware of the feeling of the body itself. Resting our attention there, so sitting there for long enough that we start to really feel more and more the presence of the body and the sensations in the body. Every time we breathe out, there's this invitation to allow the body to let go a little bit more than the breath before. And as we're present with the body, we feel the feeling of the body letting go gradually. The feeling of softness making its way into the muscles. The feeling of heaviness taking over as we give the weight of the body to the posture. And the more we breathe out, the more we let go. If your mind is busy, there's nothing wrong with that. We're not trying to stop the mind, rather we are just trying to, and even trying is the wrong word, this is an effortless, very relaxed process. We're shifting our attention, just allowing ourselves to notice and become aware of the sensations, the feeling of the body, the experiences that we're having in the body. So even the feeling of the breath coming and going. The feeling of the belly gently rising as we breathe in, or the air moving through the nose as we breathe. The feeling of the body letting go. The feeling of the stretch. We're just learning to rest our attention with the body. And there is an effortlessness to that. It's not trying to concentrate. It's just allowing yourself to sit with something different. Okay, so walking your hands back in. Come up slowly. You may well feel stiff or fragile during or coming out of a yin posture. Help those knees back to center. Taking the hands behind you, passing the feet and dropping the knees from side to side, just gently working out any of that stiffness, helping the blood and the energy to flow once more through the hips. Stay soft in the shoulders. Stay soft in the face. So come into a kneeling position. If you're on carpet, you may well be totally fine. But if you are on a hard surface, you'll need to cushion your knees here. So I would roll the blanket, have that lengthways, and take the knees wide. So big toes stay together, knees come wide, there's cushioning under the knees. If you don't have a blanket handy, nice little trick is to just roll the edges of your yoga mat up until there's a roll under each knee. We're going to, first of all, just take the hands forward, lowering the body, taking the head to the floor. And you can cushion under the head with a blanket or fists, or even a yoga block if you have one, if you need to do that. And if you take your knees wider, you'll get more stretch. Take the knees closer, you'll get less. So breathing in and out through the nose, allowing the body to give its weight forwards, allowing the body to become heavy. Breathing out, letting go. Breathing out, letting go. And there is a stopping and a letting go involved in a yin practice. So every time we breathe out, we're invited to soften away from or let go of activity, tension, effort. We're invited to just stop. To allow the body to let go. And to allow effort to fall away. Still breathing down into that belly. Still allowing the body to let go as you breathe. And adjusting your posture whenever you need to. Okay, so we're going to take the body forwards and into what's called melting heart. So the hips will now lift and the hips stop when they're in line with the knees. So imagine there's a line between your knees. That's where the hips will hover above. And then the upper body can come forward. So we can walk the hands, walk the arms forwards. Bring the head down to the floor again. The knees may want to come wider here, or you may want to bring them closer together. And we allow the chest to drop towards the floor. So some of you may need to turn your head to either side, or you may prefer to have your head straight. If you're getting too much stretch through the arms, then I want you to take your arms in and closer towards you. Let them bend and come into a more comfortable position. Even taking a hand down to either elbow and resting your head into the floor or the arms. Some of you may need to support under the head. So you may have a cushion under your head. Some of you may benefit by just placing a blanket or a small cushion rolled under the chest for support if you're getting way too much through the upper body. It's getting too strong for you. Okay, so breathing in and out through the nose. Chest is dropping more and more towards the floor. We want to take the knees wider and stretch more through the insides of the legs we can. And if this is all just way too challenging, then just come back to that initial posture. Finding softness even in these more challenging postures. Even if there's a little bit of activity needed to maintain the posture, we're still softening around that activity. Finding as much softness and surrender as we can. All the while we make sure that nothing's too strong, nothing's aggressive or sharp. So we do have to stop and adjust our posture from time to time. Taking the hips back towards the heels, walking the hands in, taking the knees back together, and lay down onto your back. So we just want to take the weight off the hips and the knees after they've been quite challenged in that last posture. So you may want to just take your feet wide and rest your knees together. That sometimes feels really nice. Or maybe you want a little bit of movement to release here, so you might want to drop your knees from side to side again. Keeping a distance between the feet, so the feet come out towards the edge of the mat. And we're going to come straight into a posture now to stretch more around the outside. So we've been working through the inside of the hips, now we go to the outside. So feet come in, about a hip distance width between the feet. We take the right foot up onto the left knee, reach through and take hold around the back of the left thigh. Soften your shoulders back towards the earth. And if you need to here, you can absolutely get a cushion under the back of the head. And if you want to get more stretch, reach up and take hold around the knee. Breathing in and out through the nose, finding softness. So there's activity now through the arms, the upper body, even through hips and legs to some degree. So we just want to soften as much as we can without losing the posture. And I just want to invite you to ground your attention once more with the body. There's no skill involved in that. There's no special quality or experience needed. That's as simple as just closing the eyes and just allowing the feeling of the body to begin to occur to you again. And just giving yourself the time to really sink into that, or to allow your attention to drift around the body, noticing all the different parts, the feeling of different sensations in the body, different experiences. Temperature, stretch, stillness, movement, contact, weight. It's all different kinds of experiences we're having in the body. So I want you to start to get curious now. As you sit with your body and scan around, I want you to really get to know and discover all those different experiences and sensations that you are having right now. To allow that breath to sink down into the belly. Remaining curious, what is there here to discover that you haven't already discovered or noticed? The length, the rhythm of the breath, or the feeling of the air moving through the nose. Feeling of the cool air of the room against the skin. Feeling of the clothes against the skin. Little pockets of hidden, unnoticed gripping or tension that doesn't need to be there. Breaths here in this posture. Taking the foot down to the floor. Taking both feet down and taking the left foot up onto the right knee. Reaching through, taking hold around the back of the right thigh to begin with. Soften the shoulders back towards the earth, and if you need to, support your head with a cushion. Remembering that each side of your body can feel very different, so you might come to a different depth or need a slightly different version. If you want deeper, reach up, take hold around the knee. One little thing that I will bring your attention to here is that sometimes, because in a yin posture we are softening as much as we can, we sometimes find the knee, so in this case the right knee, falls in towards the middle of the body. Now that may feel like that's reaching a nice point for you, but I just want you to experiment with just drawing that knee out towards the right so that it's more square and in alignment with that right hip. And you may feel that changes the stretch. Maybe it feels a little bit more juicy. Maybe it reaches part of the hips that need reaching. So rather than let that knee fall in towards the center, we can draw it out towards the edge or towards the right. If your mind is putting a lot of effort right now, analyzing or mulling over something, you can begin to invite an effortlessness in the mind. As you breathe out and let go, you can allow your mind's activity to fall away from you. So let it in, let it come, but let it go when it starts up. So there's a kind of repetitive nature to this, and that the mind does keep coming in, but we're just willing to breathe out and let it die off, let it fall away, softening away from mental effort, mental activity. And let your breath out be your guide through this. Let your breath out do the work for you. Your body, your mind is willing to let go as you breathe out. The breath out that allows us to let go of that which no longer serves us. Breathing out, letting go physically, mentally. Every time we breathe out, we just allow that process to continue and deepen. A few more breaths here. Breathing out, letting go. Taking your foot down to the floor, taking the left foot down. And same again, I just want you to be instinctive, be body-led. Do you want to move or do you want to be still? Maybe taking the feet wide, resting the knees together. Maybe resting the legs straight out. Tuning in, being with your body. Maybe moving, maybe dropping knees from side to side or hugging the knees in once more. So open to interpretation this bit. So we're going to come up now, and we're moving towards our last two postures. So sit to the side for a moment, just take a few breaths here, rest your head into your arm if you want to. Pressing your palm into the floor. Now, everything that I've been doing with you has been building you to these two postures. So I'm going to ask you to sit now into a cross-legged position. We're going to move into what's called box pose. So if you look down at the moment, your crossed legs, you'll see like a V shape here. So what I want you to do is lean back onto your fingertips, wriggle your feet forwards until that V becomes more of a straight line. So rather than having a V, now there's a straight line, well, kind of a straight line across the legs. Now some of you will find that's just enough, so we're going to lean forwards onto the fingertips and just see how that feels. Maybe you'd like to deepen this. So to deepen, if you look down, you're just going to let your knees come in towards each other and your feet go out in this direction, outwards. So feet go out, knees come in together. So if you lean forwards now, you'll feel that's deeper in the hips. And leaning onto the fingertips may be enough. This is quite a deep stretch into the hips. This is a really, really good posture if any of you are working towards improving your Padmasana or your lotus pose. Soften your shoulders away from your ears if you're leaning onto fingertips. If you want to walk the hands further out after a while, you can. You can walk as far out as you want to. Your hands don't have to be to the side. Maybe you want to take your hands forwards. Maybe you want to have a couple of cushions, or if you have a bolster, have that in front of you and lean into something. You may well find your hips opening up more and more as time goes on, so do feel free to respond. Go deeper or back away or take a rest. Some of you will feel totally fine to come all the way down to forearms. Honor your own unique body, what it needs from you right now. And this is where I will say that Yin is a practice of learning to nurture. Too many of us come to our yoga practice and ignore our bodies. So please, please do be listening, feeling into your body and responding. Breath is smooth, shoulders soft, face is soft. Coming towards the end of this side. So maybe you sink a little bit deeper for the last few breaths, maybe not. So not too long there, just walking the hands back in, because all we're going to do now is switch the legs around. So just come back to that normal cross-legged position and just switch your legs around in the opposite direction. So same again, as you look down, there's kind of a V shape. We let the feet come up until those lower legs are in more of a line. And if we want to deepen, the feet go out and the knees come closer together. So maybe we lean forwards onto fingertips, and a lot of us will be very different on each side. So if there's a lot of you that sit in a half lotus a lot, you'll definitely find one hip more open than the other. So good to treat the body evenly here and reach both sides, but do honor the difference. So don't force yourself into the same version if you need to be more gentle. Soften those shoulders. Smooth breath, release any tension around the breath. Just being here. Nowhere else you need to be. If that mind is busy, soften away from that activity, that effort. Nothing you need to be thinking about right now. It's okay to just be here and breathe. Normal for different emotions to come and go throughout our practice. So sometimes we'll get this unexpected wave of emotion, and that's fine, especially when we're working with the hips. Try not to buy into any of it too much. Try not to create any stories about any of it in your mind. Just let it be there. Let it be felt. If you can, welcome the emotion. I like to say, you are welcome, you have a right to space, you have a right to be felt, you are welcome here. Let it be there, and when it's ready, it will just move on. So let it be felt, and often it will move on quicker the more you surrender to it. Remembering that what you resist tends to persist. We're trying not to react, we're trying not to get pulled into any of it too much. Just let it be there. Let it come, let it go. Maybe coming a little bit deeper for the last few breaths. Walking your hands back into center, and you'll feel a release of energy and blood flow as you take your legs back into this central position, leaning back onto hands and just dropping the knees from side to side. And you may want to move very slowly here. Or you may feel the need to be still. Maybe parting the feet, resting the knees together. If you want to close your eyes and really connect with the experience that you're having in your body, then please do. And just know with these movements you can twist a little. You can take your head in the opposite direction and enjoy a little bit of twist through the spine. Taking the knees back to center. And we are going to come into what's called shoelace. So shoelace pose may require you to sit up onto something. If you have a yoga block, that's perfect. If you don't, stack cushions underneath you. And we're going to take the right leg underneath. So this is the pose we've been working towards here. So we want to bring that knee to this central line. Some of you may not get there though. Some of you may find your knee sits more in this direction. So taking hold of the foot and the knee, just take it as far around as you can. Let it rest at its maximum. So we're all going to be different. And then taking the other leg over to cross here. This may feel a lot for you. So if this is enough, you just stay here. If you want to deepen though, we let this knee drop down, take hold of the foot, and once more we take the leg around, taking the knee possibly all the way into this central point. Now I just want to make a note with you guys that we're all so different in this, that some of you may be in more of this kind of position. There's nothing wrong with that. That's where your body needs to sit. So it's not so much about how it looks, it's about how it feels. If you want to deepen this, you can take the feet up higher and take them forwards. And again, some of you will be totally fine just to rest here. Maybe relax the hands down to the sides. Some people like to relax their hands behind them or into the lap. So you can just rest here. And you don't have to rush, but if you do want to deepen at some point, you just take your hands forward. Same as we did before, either leaning into fingertips or walking the hands out further or coming all the way down. Again, you could rest into cushions in front of you. So there's lots of different points you can be at. Any of you are finding this one just way too challenging, I want you to straighten your leg and take this left leg over the top. So you're doing a half version. So you could stay up straight or you could fold forwards, which will give you stretch along the back of the leg as well. If any of you have super open hips and you want to come down off of your block or cushions, please do feel free. Soften those shoulders if you're leaning into the arms especially. You want to soften the shoulders away from the ears. Connecting with the body once more. If that mind or concentration is wandered off, just take note of where you went to, what kind of thoughts were there. Notice the thoughts, notice the thinking, and then let it fall away, bringing your attention back once more to the body, to this idea of surrender. Can be a very deep concept in our practice. We can be surrendering the body. We could be surrendering the mind, letting the thoughts fall away. We could be surrendering to the fact that we lose our concentration and that the mind tends to take us away often. So there's a dance of going away with the mind and then bringing the attention back. And maybe the surrender today is to just surrender to the inevitability of that. Maybe we're surrendering to the fluctuations internally with our emotions. Maybe we're surrendering to the fact that the body isn't quite doing what we want it to do, and instead we surrender and allow the body to be where it needs to be. Many ways that we can give over to what is in our practice. This is the deeper aspect of a yin practice. Your body's opened up and invited you in a little bit deeper, you can respond. Last few breaths. Walking those hands back in. Taking the legs out in front of you. Breathe a sigh of relief if that was super challenging for you. And just be still for a moment. Just let that blood flow around the legs, let the energy flow. Soften your shoulders. If you do want to move, feel free to move. Take a few smooth, deep breaths, a moment of pausing. so we'll come down to the other side now. So last time we took the right leg under, this time we're going to take the left leg under, or you just go with the opposite to what you were doing. So once more we take this knee around to center, or as far around as it will go. Top leg will come around as far as it will go. May look very different though, and maybe we just sit up tall, or maybe we lean forwards. Maybe we rest into cushions, or we come all the way down. Or maybe we're doing the half version. So lots of options here. Again, the other side of your body could be very different. So nurture, respond. If you're leaning into your arms, keep your shoulders soft. To this act of letting go as we breathe out, occurring a little bit more each time we breathe out. Starts physically, finding little ways to let go in the body. Each time we breathe out, there is an opportunity there to let go in some way. Don't try to let go. Just allow anything to fall away that's ready to fall away. Sitting with the body, sitting with the here and now, any experiences, sensations, anything, any detail in this moment that you hadn't already noticed. Not needing to add anything to what you observe, just simply noticing. Last few breaths here. Okay, so walking those hands back in. Slowly, if need be, taking the legs out in front of you, coming down off of your block or your cushions. Maybe we're still, or maybe we move. We'll just take the body down now into closing Shavasana, taking the feet wide, resting the head back. You can have cushions under your legs, under the backs of the knees if you need to. Take your arms out to the side. You can have a cushion under the back of the head. You can have a blanket over the body. Close the eyes, breathe through the nose. Give the weight of the body over to the floor. And just come to stillness, a natural stillness. Allowing your body to give its weight over to the floor a little bit more each time you breathe out. Sinking deeper and deeper, becoming heavier against the support of the floor. I'm going to leave you for a few minutes now to just simply be. Nothing needs to be done. Have some stillness. Wake the body slowly, gentle movements to fingers and toes, maybe dropping the head from side to side. We just take note here of any changes, any shifts, the way we feel now, the difference between beginning to end. Take your arms above you, take a stretch out. Rolling over onto your right side. Pressing your palm into the floor, come up to seated. Crossing the legs for a moment. taking the hands to heart center. And the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here with me for this class. Please let me know how you got on in the comments below. It means the world to me when I hear from you guys. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. And then one more thing, just hit subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I bring out weekly videos, usually yoga classes, predominantly yin. And I hope you have a wonderful day or a wonderful evening, and I look forward to seeing you next time.